Hello, 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 hello. Happy Monday. I am so excited to be here with you again. It is yet another beautiful Monday in January, and we are already to a great start for 2021 in that we have met 3 times, which means you have been motivated from us 3 times. My name is Monica Henderson, and I am the founder and creator of Minklife Motivation. And I am so excited to get into the show today. So shall we get this party started? I am going to do that just now. Ooh, technical difficulties. Welcome to live shows, right? All right, let's share my screen so we can get this started. And here we go. So again, like I said, my name is Monica Henderson, and I am, the technical difficulties again. My apologies. It is having a mind of its own today. So we are here for a particular reason, and that reason is to help you understand, 1, what is Minklife Motivation, and 2, how we can help you change your life and grow your business by using our personal business brand and network development system. Now, each week we come together to help you get motivated, stay inspired, keep networking, and gain knowledge so that you can live a life that is designed by you, for you, healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled. I am way stoked to help you understand, to continue to dive into the hero's mission, and to really dive into this concept that we've been kind of talking about this month, about activating the hero within. Now, as you know, this is conference month, and next weekend is our next global virtual conference. And so we are going to talk about why are entrepreneurs so important to the global recovery from the pandemic. And in order to do that, we are going to get motivated with my co-host. Yes. So we have Andrea Gewirtz, who is a wellness thrive strategy at WellBeing and Worth, and also a Minklife Motivation master trainer. Marcia is going to hang out from a distance today. She's not going to be here with us, but Marcia, we love you. And of course, we have Peggy, our newest co-host, who is the owner and photographer at Headshots by Peggy. How's it going, ladies?
Great. Happy Monday, everybody.
So this is the rare opportunity for us 3 to hang out, just the 3 of us, which hasn't happened in a while. We've always had guests and we've always had other people. So that means we get to kind of lean into this friendship that we have developed over this year, you two over this year, me and Peggy deepened it, and Andrea and I deepened our relationships this year. We get to actually spend more time together. Are you guys excited?
I am.
Absolutely.
We were joking before. We were like, 3 people. That means Peggy gets to have more time to talk, because that's what she said she does really well last time. So you're up.
Everybody's got to be good at something. I am really good at talking. I mean, what can I say?
Perfect. So, as you know, we've all been through this pandemic. If you haven't noticed, I can show you evidence of it, that I'm in my pajama pants as we speak, because I got the whole mullet outfit. Party up top, pajama pants down low. And I say this because there are plenty of people out there who get on these Zoom calls just like this as well. And we have been all forced to be at home and kind of practicing all of this from home. And some people might actually be kind of having a hard time with how long we've been in this space, right? But I have been trying to really encourage people, saying, hey, this is our time. We're really kind of coming to, into our own as business owners in this space. You don't have the commute and all the other things to get in your way. What is your thoughts on how the entrepreneur can really kind of hear the call, activate that vision, and really be pulled by a vision in order to get out of this pandemic better than they came into it? And we're going to start with Andrea, since Peggy can talk, so we'll give her more time.
Okay, so there are a couple questions that you asked all at one time. So let me sort of take them apart. I'm going to start with the last one first, and that was like, how do I think you said, or what I heard was, how can we come out of the pandemic maybe better than when we went into the pandemic? And that's a big theme within Mink life, right? Like, how do we move to something? And so, action, even at a time of what seems like stasis, is really necessary to propel one forward. I was really thinking about how much action I took during this time in pandemic. And it's probably been the most action I've taken since I was in college because, college afforded me the opportunity to just work on things I was passionate about, so it didn't feel like work. That's the beauty of college, I think, versus work, which has other, I call it 1040 work, not 1099 work, but 1040 work where you get a W-2. W-2 work, that's what I call it. Don't even know what to call it anymore. Hello. Where you are working at the behest of someone else. And so I know that instead of being like, oh, I don't know what to do, I was like, well, many of my things have changed about what I do, how I make money, how will I continue to make money. So it wasn't so much, oh my God, I'm going broke. It was more, how can I be how can I be more active and engaged now that I'm very much at home? And so that meant networking in a new way, right? But it also meant what can I create that I can offer that will then be remunerated to me? Like what are my gifts? What can I go stop laughing. I saw that laugh. And you guys, she'll probably bring it up then. I'll let her explain why she was giggling about that word. As soon as I said the word, I saw her giggle. So we have this thing about words. Anyway, so squirrel, back to what I was saying. So you shouldn't do that to me because, I was on a roll. Really is, I was like, what can I make? What would feel like absolutely zero work and was a passion project of mine? And so I would have to say that my cleanse became something I'd been thinking about, I was going to do, la, 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 but I didn't have it written down. I didn't have a framework for a class. It was something I was going to do when I had some time. Well, I had the time, and now I have a class, and it's been brilliant, and it's been great connecting with people and helping them embrace health even at a distance. So definitely, I got really curious about what I could do, even though I was stuck here in this in my bedroom, like in my faux library, because why not? That's how I said. I said, well, I'll come out of this at least with a class that can be digital, online, and who knows what, and we'll go from there. So that was
Yeah.
definitely what pushed me to creation, and I'm grateful, super grateful.
Yeah. Peggy, what about you?
Well, what's the old saying? Be careful what you wish for. I know that I, like probably most of you, if I just had 8 days in the week, or if I just had a month of no work that I could just focus, I would get all these things done. And apparently the the universe provided that for us. So I think that, for me, I'm kind of a overachiever in a lot of areas. It's like there's a schedule, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's what's going on right now, and it has to be perfect, and I got to be productive every moment of every day. And so I think in the beginning of the pandemic, I just went like, oh, this is awesome, I can get all these things done. And then it was like, wait, I've done like 5 years worth of work in 9 months. Like, what is going on here? And so I think a lot of being, surviving through the pandemic is also allowing yourself to rest, and not feeling guilty if you're not productive every moment of every day, because and I think this is a primarily American problem, but we were raised with this idea that our self-worth is equated to, our productivity, and that's just not true. It's okay to, have a day that you just stay in your pajama pants all day long, and you don't get anything done, and you just, enjoy your life, and you thank God that you're alive, and that you have, a life to enjoy. And so I think that's important, because we've all been so productive that I don't want us to come out of this pandemic in a state of burnout, in a state of, oh, now we've got to deal with customers, or now we've got like, we should, come out of this refreshed with a new plan and a new, I've started doing things that were in the back of my mind, hobby ideas that I've now branched off into new parts of my business, that I've had time to study and perfect and work on. And so a lot of exciting things are coming of that. But I also am trying to make myself, realize that I don't have to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, because we're in a pandemic and I have to be superwoman and be, super productive. That's not going to benefit me in the long run. And so I think that's something that we all need to touch on as well, is the fact that it's okay. It's okay.
I agree with both. I obviously agree with both of what you guys said, and will add that I think that you're right. We all asked for this. I don't know a person who wasn't like, if I could just one more day in the week, that would be fantastic. Or I didn't have to go anywhere this week and just got to stay home and kind of catch up on some things. I don't know anyone who hasn't asked that. So yes, we did kind of ask for that. And this entire time I've been saying, hey, it's been a happy blessing for me, because I think, honestly, my business I would still be in phase one. And I've now phased over, I've like morph speed, probably 10 years worth of growth in my business, right? You're going from one program and one brand to having 4 programs, having 3 brands, right? And not to mention my own personal branding and a book and a this and a that and this show, right? Like a bunch of things happened in a shorter period of time than I would have imagined. And I think at the beginning of all of this, it was kind of a godsend. And Andre and I would joke a little bit. It's like, no, don't open the world yet. We still have things to do, right? But now that we're kind of edging towards almost being like this for a year, right? Like it's been a while now. I know that I personally am like, well, this is nice, but I can't wait to actually be able to, one, take advantage of all of the opportunities that I didn't get a chance to do this year. But 2, also really meet all of the new people in person that I've met over the pandemic. And also I did find more space with my family, right? Like I did find more understanding of the people that I live with on a regular basis. They're not just roommates, but they're actually family members. And yes, I'm talking about my husband and my daughter. They are family members, but we had always functioned really like, even in, I know she's 13, so you would think that it was more of a mother-daughter relationship. I have a very mature 13-year-old. And so it was like having 2 roommates, right? And we would kind of pass each other and then pass each other. And it's like, oh, I'm off to this and I'm off to that and I'm off to this. And then we would come back and maybe have a meal together. But we did get to do some more quality bonding. Like we had a bit of a marathon yesterday watching the old episodes of 24, which my husband then bailed on us on one of the last episodes after he got us hooked to it. Like, you get us hooked on a binge watching episode and then you bail on us, but so you can go watch a football game. But we did get to have like deeper conversations. We did get to have like this connectivity that before the pandemic, I don't know that I had. So I didn't have the business I have. I didn't have the connectivity to my family that I had. I did not have the connectivity to even my friends. I think this required quite a bit more deeper connecting. You got out of the superficial conversations and you got into the real, because we were checking on each other. I think this was the first time that people were like, no, really, how are you? Are you okay? With cordial, casual people, right? And people were completely more vulnerable in this space. Oh, my so-and-so was sick with COVID and I'm just really worried about it. And this is not something that would have normally happened before pandemic. So I think really taking all of those things that we've kind of picked up with learning to kind of not overstuff our schedules, as Peggy was saying, and really kind of realizing that this time gave us a blessing of kind of pivoting and changing and tweaking and contorting all of the things that we had wanted to do and we weren't sure we could do, and it gave us this experimental space to do. Adding that to all of this lovely relationship building that we've had to do in these little tiny boxes, I think really does help us kind of come out of this better, right? Come out of the pandemic with way more than what we came into it. And yeah, it came at a price. It was not an easy experience, right? But if we can stay hopeful and thankful for the fact that it did bring us together in those ways, and that we do check on each other differently now than we did before. I mean, just out of curiosity, how many people, when they would ask you, "Are you okay?" you'd be like, "I'm fine," whether you were fine or not. "I'm good. No, it's fine." Right? Versus on the other side of the pandemic, when someone says, "How are you doing?" and you actually give a more honest answer to not even a stranger, right? Like even someone who you wouldn't have normally opened yourself up to. What do you guys think? Do you feel like there's like a bigger opening there as well?
Well, to that point about the connecting with people and being forced to this medium in order to communicate, I am now in touch with relatives I have never really spent a lot of time with. You know, I have cousins all over the world, and at the height of the pandemic, one in particular lives in France, and of course, my husband's family being in Italy, we would spend time on Zoom, um, just saying hey, and they were happy to see somebody else's face because the France and Italian, the French and the Italian lockdowns were far more strict than the ones we've experienced here in the US. And so this has been a lifeline. Like when people say, what do you give gratitude for every morning? I go, electricity, because it's kept me connected to the outside world. It would be hard to fathom um, weathering this without the ability to connect as immediately as we've become accustomed to connecting. And so, for sure, and everyone being more truthful about where they are in any given day, you do feel more connected to them. And by extension, I know I'm more purposeful with my family in that connecting. We have a set time every Sunday that I'm on Zoom, yet again, on the weekends. We joke about it, but it's just nice to see how their kids are growing up. And I'm seeing how, my cousin won some big karate competition, like my cousin's child, right? And to see her, I got all really verklempt because they videotaped it, and to see this beautiful woman that I've seen maybe, it's hard to go back and forth 4 or 5 times in her entire life, but now I have this rapport with her and a relationship, and she won this award, and I'm like, what about this? And we're talking about college for her and her family. So for sure, it's brought us together, and the assistance that we connect. I think that intention, like you said about connecting, has been good for all of our souls. If we were busy entrepreneurs who didn't have time for all that, like you said, Peggy, it's been a blessing that I am very rarely guilty about taking the time just to hang now, because gosh knows, maybe I won't.
Never know.
I might. You don't know. We've lost. Everyone's lost somebody, or I know somebody who didn't get to be with them the next week because of
Mhm.
illness or complications from COVID. I mean, in addition to regular trauma, people passing away. So for sure, I think this is, as you said, we were all asking for it. I was like, maybe that was the cosmic reason for COVID, for a pause, for a break.
Mhm.
I
Um,
know that's
we
not
we
popular, but I think about it
we
too.
kind of laughed when the pandemic first started and we first locked down, and it was like the oceans all of a sudden were clean, the air, like, we live in Los Angeles, and it's like, wow, did you know the mountains were right there? It's like, you know, and it was like our joke at the house was like Mother Earth was like, I have told you, and I have told you are on a timeout. Set your butts down. So it's kind of the joke around here. But seriously, I think absolutely, even, our adult kids, we Zoom with them every single week. And before, it was a stretch to be able to get a phone call every week because they were busy, and now they can't wait to talk to us. And they're like playing games with us, Jackbox or different, games over the thing, things that we didn't ever do didn't ever think to do. Like we would have never thought a year ago today, we wouldn't have ever thought, hey, we should call up the kids and play, this crazy Jackbox game, with our they wouldn't, we wouldn't have thought of that. And now it's like, are we going to play this week? What day are we going to get together? So it's, it's something that we need to hold on to and not forget about these lessons that we've learned and how precious life is.
Absolutely. I, of course, went off script a little bit because, it's us. But I thought, well, this is a perfect time to kind of have this conversation. I mean, today is Martin Luther King Day here in the United States. And since we don't have any outside guests, I thought we would kind of talk about like what the dream, right, is what he's famous for. And one of the things that I'm always asking people is to activate your vision, to live your life by a vision. And I think it might go over people's heads sometimes in thinking that a vision has to be something huge, right? And I always say, well, our decisions are made by two separate places, right? Either by pain or by a vision. So you're either being pushed because it's painful and you need to do something, or you have decided and put it in your head, I'm going to do this, and you're taking action to get closer to it. Sometimes there's a slight combination of the two, right? You're like, if I don't do this, it's going to be painful. And I do want to be healthy, so I might as well go ahead and make that happen anyway, right? And so there is sometimes a little bit of a hybrid, but I wanted to talk to you guys about what if you could craft, right, the vision for your own clientele, and how you're going to make an impact in the world. What is your vision for that? Andrea, do you want to go first?
Sure, I do. Well, as your Thrive strategist in terms of health and wealth, I'm happy to talk about this. Try not to get too excited. Scare you people out there like, she's a little extra. I am a little extra, but that's okay. So, thriving means a lot to me because I think the pandemic should reaffirm for people that being in good health is the only way to perhaps have a better outcome at the end, right? So what does thriving look like? It really, what does that word mean? And I have defined it, thank you for letting me put a plug in here, Monica, as the true thrive is like T is for true, and then the H is for holistic, and R is for rejuvenation. Begins with some internal action, which is a decision, right? Like from my NLP thing is the decision for, oh, I just went out of my head. HRIV, oh my goodness, Monica. I didn't take my, oh, what am I thinking?
It's okay.
Anyway, so you have begins with external action. So you really have to take an action in order to get a result. And so this passion or being pushed by pain, which of course, as your Thrive strategist and an NLP coach, pain being the impetus to do something really does not gird well for long lasting change. So what you want to do is, of course, fix your desire on something that affirms everything you believe. Everything. And if you don't believe yet, you're looking for an answer that you can believe in. And so I totally believe that for all of us, we have to embrace our ability to weather this virus, let's say. We can only have the agency over this body to meet the virus and go, yeah, you gave me sniffles, or you made me not feel so great, but not, hi, home invasion, I'm taking over, is what's happening for a lot of people if you really think about this virus coming in. And we're surrounded by viruses every day. So thriving is having that resilience internally to weather various things. And of course, be it health, be it wealth, you have a vision that you really need to act upon, like really go out there and act, and so that you can have that thing that you so desire. And so thriving starts with the vision. Everything starts with a vision. Absolutely everything. When you're a little kid and you're learning to walk, you're looking at all those people who are bipeds going, how am I going to go on two legs? I don't know how to do two legs. Let me try fall. Let me try fall. Children are the most persistent because they are looking, they see all of us modeling around them. I think I'm supposed to do it on two legs. It's just the most remarkable thing watching a kid learn to walk and their insistence. And I always question people, when did you lose that insistence? When did you lose that, like, I can, I can, I can, I can? And really tapping into that and building that up as your immunity to life, as the ability to always go and act. And so, yes, I totally believe that when we fix our eyes on something that we really want, we will go through walls to get it, and so good or bad, because that's a drug addiction too, right? Like, they're like, but we are speaking in the sense of thriving. And so that definitely would be where in my business from my clients is to give them a strong why, a strong reason to make this change that really will, despite how difficult it may or may not be to make the change in that moment, that they'll live on the faith that they have the vision, and I would be the guide to help them realize the vision. So that's my vision of thriving.
That's nice. Peggy, what about you?
I think I would have to default to, what she said. Yes, that's awesome. I guess from my point of view as a photographer, I specialize in headshots. So what my vision would be is that my clients take the time to really evaluate who they are, what they want their potential clients and colleagues to see, how they want their business to be represented, and really sit down and self-evaluate. And then, that's where I can come in and help them portray that through their headshots, through their colors, the branding, everything. So I think that literally everything Andrea said, but take the moment. I think the thing that we forget to do is to stop and really, I'm guilty of this. I'm working with Andrea on a personal, thing with my health. And, a lot of times I'll say, oh, I never stopped to think about that. I never stopped to think why I do that. I never stopped to think about this or that. And, I think as entrepreneurs, we need to stop and think, why do we have this business? What does it mean? What is it supposed to do? I mean, yeah, it's supposed to make me money, but none of us went into business just, okay, I'm not going to say none of us. The majority of the people that I know did not go into business just to make money. We went into business because we were like, hey, we have something that can help other people. Like, we have this great thing and we want to share it with, with the world. And then all of a sudden you get so bogged down with business stuff that you forget to stop and think, wait, who am I and why am I doing this? And so I have no idea if I answered the question, because I think Andrea nailed it. So I just kind of talked some words, but
No,
But
but
I love what you added. I love what you
yeah,
added about really remembering why you're doing it. Like really tapping back into, especially you brought it back to the entrepreneur, and I really thought about it from the health perspective. So you bringing it back to the entrepreneur is a great segue to go to entrepreneur builder Monica over there.
no. Well, it's funny because all of our conversations kind of go full circle. And so when you were talking about how children kind of just try and try and try and try and try, and I remember, so I always say I got my name right, or my word, when I was 12. And the word was muse, right? And it was to inspire greatness in others. That was the vision that I had for my life at that time. I found that word. That was my word. It matched me. I'm brown paper bag with no actual talents or skills, or at least perceived by me at that age. And so I can't do anything great at all. Like, there's nothing this girl can do. I'm average in every way, average grades, average height, average complexion, average everything, right? I'm not good at anything. I can't sing. I'm not, I'm not horrible at anything either. I'm just average, right? And so anything I tried, I could kind of do, but I wasn't going to be the best at it. I just could kind of do it. And so when I found the word muse, it just it made me so happy, because it was like, I don't have to be great. I don't have to be the special one. I can actually just inspire greatness in other people, and they can be their kind of special and change the world. And so that was kind of my vision for my life. And which is why all of this is what it is. I don't know if you noticed, but I love collaboration, because it gives me an opportunity to showcase awesome, amazing, dynamic, crazy, fun, just dope people. I mean, look at the company at hand, right? Like, Andrea is a wordsmith, which is why I laugh every time she uses one of these words that I'm like, shh, now I got to find a dictionary and figure out what that meant exactly, right? I'm always trying to catch up to her in her words. But but she is a depth and a wealth of knowledge, and has it like just kind of sitting there in the front of her dome, and you're like, oh, I'm having an issue with this, and she's like, oh, you know what you need to do, and then she gives you a potion and a do that and whatnot. Go in the kitchen, grab this, throw it in some water, do this and that, you'll feel better. Just go ahead and take it in, and it works every single time, right? And so to be able to kind of say, oh, well, if I can help her, right, be out there in the world and people can see her and she can change their lives, how many lives have I changed, right? And then with Peggy, like, if I can get her out there and I can show people how awesome she is and helping you kind of really identify what looks good for you so that you can show up in your best way, then how many people could she help? And how many people could those people help? Because they're all professionals trying to help other people, and she's helping the professionals that are trying to help the other people, right? So how many more people could I benefit by just helping her, right? And so my vision as a 12-year-old was really kind of about that. Like, if I can just get my hands on amazing people and keep inspiring them to do the best work they could possibly do, and keep pushing them out there, which, as an oldest child, that's what we do. We push people. I then can be awesome. And that is what the foundation of this business for me is. This is why Minklife Motivation exists.
I didn't know that was your word. Like, I was like,
That was my word.
well, then I'm like, I've only really been hanging out with her for 9 months, so of course. But it feels like it's been years. But I didn't know the Muse story. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's lots of stories in here. I mean,
We all
if
have
you
lots of stories, which has been fun to get to know them all. But I was like, I didn't know that was your word. I love that
yeah,
word.
it's funny because I felt like you knew because you're in my head all the time, but apparently you didn't know. It's in my, it was one of the things that when I wrote the book that I had to kind of like really dive back to, like, what my original why was. And it was that word muse. I can't do anything special. I can't do anything. So since I can't do anything, it might as well be someone else. But now I get to see Andrea change lives. And then I get to see even Alana, who's the producer of the show, help people understand their story better and kind of really lean into their story and why it's impactful, and them thinking, oh, wow, my story can help people, and them wanting to continue to inspire, right? So it's like, just by pulling the wily characters that I love together in the same space, I'm able to affect change in so many places. And then the conference just kind of, I think, crystallized it for me. When we created the, New Normal was the original, but now it's the next global virtual conference. And so now I get to do that globally, where I get to meet people, find out, oh my gosh, you're amazing. How come no one knows about you? No one I know knows about you. Let me share you. And then we spend an entire 2 days of cross-pollinating genius, right? Like, literally cross-pollinating genius, and everybody's inspiring everyone else. It's like super summer camp, right? But for adults, and we're all in our homes separately, all over the world and in different time zones. And we're always trying to figure out, well, what time is it over there for you? What time is it over there for you? But we get to collectively then activate each other, right? We get to collectively motivate each other. And all I had to do was say, hey guys, would you like to come on to my little conference and share what you do? That's all I had to do, and just make sure that it happened. And so I say that to say that no matter whatever your job is, right, whatever your one unique special genius is in the world, it could be literally the smallest thing, but what you are giving to someone else could be the person who's going to change the world, right? It could be the one thing they needed to literally create the reform we need in order for people to be treated like humans, right? Or the reform we need in order for us to not kill ourselves slowly by like depleting our environment, or the reform we need to get rid of poverty or hunger. It could literally be the one service that you've provided, could literally be the one thing that they needed in order to be the next great whatever they are. And so I get so excited about these conferences because of that, because I know that that's my like world domination master plan. We're going to spread goodness all over the world. I'm so evil, right? But it just makes me so excited that like next weekend, right?
This
We're
weekend.
going to be, next week, this weekend
This
coming
weekend.
up.
This weekend.
Sorry, this
Saturday.
weekend, Saturday, right? We are going to get to spend that time, right, to help that many more people kind of go out there and do good in the world. And this theme kind of came from that muse point, right? It was like, what do I need to say to these dynamic speakers, right? These amazing people. What do I need to say to them that will really kind of get them excited for just that? And understanding that in itself is powerful, right? To just do you and show up as you in your best form is actually so freaking powerful. You could change the world. And that is why I was like, activate the hero within, right? Because it wasn't really about, I mean, we can't really save the planet alone. It really requires all of us to do it together. And there's so many problems to solve, right? So where do you start? But if we're all going in our different directions, we kind of come to our council in this conference. We're coming together in the council to discuss the plans of world domination, to fight the good fight. And then we take that energy and that excitement and that activation, and we go off into our separate corners of the world and really kind of show up as our best selves. I think I will have finally got it, right? I will have finally done it. I don't know what you guys think.
I think she's being really downplaying her ability to galvanize and get people excited. You know, she was formerly a cheerleader. And so Miss Monica has the ability, she has no ability, she actually has the ability to really enervate and energize people. So that is one of your secret sauces. She's also really good at PowerPoint. She's not good at a lot of things. So she's like, I'm just average. I'm like, so not true. I'm like, if you're just average, well, we don't have much hope for the world. However, the conference is assuredly a place where we do get to get jazzed. I want people to really think about, what are you feeding your mind right now to stay jazzed? What are you feeding your mind to be hopeful? And it's so hard if you're watching conventional media right now to be hopeful. And everyone is so insistent. I don't know why this is, because certainly I would much rather talk about all the great things we ought to be doing versus everything's bad. And so by coming to the conference, you're going to be around a whole hell of a lot of people who are like, everything's amazing, and here's how you can be even more amazing. And so, I don't know, that's my crack about it. Like, it's definitely catnip for me to stay around and engage with people who are only thinking about, not only, but really primarily focused on hope and inspiration and gratitude versus lack, deprivation, and despair.
Meditation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are incapable of change until we can embrace a positive vision that we want to work towards. So
Mhm.
that is a reason to come to this conference, especially about activating the hero within. I love the theme of this one. And I've been around for all of them, so it's like weird that I'm so enamored with this particular one. I think it's the way it looks. It looks amazing, you guys. It's very superhero. It's got the comic book feel. It's beautiful to look at, but also just it couldn't be a more perfect time to talk about the agency of you being the hero for yourself. That means you're going to be the hero, like you said, to somebody else, to maybe make a pivot, to work in conjunction with us or some other positive person to move the conversation forward in a positive way. Because certainly we're inundated with a lack of positivity. Inundated. Womp womp.
Monica, I think that you literally nailed the whole conference on the head by you saying that you weren't good at anything. Um, activating the superhero within, because we all see that, you know, that's not true, but it's funny. You know, I grew up, all of my family, like aunts, uncles, parents, like everybody, siblings, everybody is like crafty, like they're talented with art, with building things, with like creating amazing, you know, furniture and like crazy like things. And I always thought I wasn't creative. I'm like, I'm just not talented. I'm not creative at anything. I can't do, you know, that. I'm just not creative. And I mean, I was probably in my 40s before someone was like, you're not creative. It was like, no, I'm not creative. I'm just a photographer. Like, and I think that a lot of times we don't see the obvious because what we're so good at is just so natural to us. We're like, we take it for granted. We don't realize that to someone else, that's an amazing feat that other people can't do, you know? You know, how can you just, you know, do that with such ease? Because that's your superhero, you know, power, that's your power. And a lot of times we don't activate our superpower because we don't acknowledge it. We don't think about it. To us, it's just like, oh, yeah, I do that, but I'm not like them. And we're always wanting somebody else's superpower. And we don't realize that we have an amazing power that everybody else is like, man, I wish I could do what they do.
Yeah.
So I think by you saying that, it kind of summed up literally the whole conference is activating the superhero within. And part of activating it is recognizing it, recognizing that you are a, you know, you're a badass.
Yeah, you know, to your point, my mom's a poet, right? And an extreme extrovert and charismatic and fabulous. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, your mom. All of my friends are like, your mom's the most awesome person in the world, right? Like literally everyone who knows her loves her. And my brother Dante could literally pick up anything and make something from it. He got hired as a designer at 17 by walking into a booth at a like a outdoor festival, hired on the spot to design for urban golf gear for Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer at 17, right? I have another brother who didn't have to do anything to get straight A's, right? And so like I'm surrounded by greatness and I'm like, girl, average. I could play sports, but I wasn't the best on the team, right? I could do this, but I wasn't the best. But you know, there was nothing that was like natural in that way about me. What I know now, what I didn't know back then, right, is that one, everybody has their own arc and their own time to kind of come into their own, and that is all about that's the hero's journey, right? Like everyone, they're seeing people developing around them, and they're like, oh, but they don't realize that something is brewing, it's burning inside of you, and it's coming, but you don't know it. And then the right opportunity shows up, and you're able to showcase everything that you didn't realize was inside of you. And so for me, that's the case, right? Literally, this past year had been that, right? I did all of these things separately, right? But never in.
Uh-oh.
You mute it. You're yeah, it decided.
Decided to mute.
It's like we're done.
Yeah. Are you there now?
Yep.
It's really faint. That's so weird.
It literally comes back when it wants to. Can you hear me now?
And now we
Yep.
can.
Yeah, it's like it's giving your own cliffhanger. Dun dun dun. But you know, this past year was when all of the things converged. All of the things, every single morsel of information that I had ever picked up in my life, every random factoid, curiosity, all kind of came together in exactly the right time when the world needed to be pulled together, right? And all of those years of being a big sister and all of those years of creating programs and all of those years of kind of building for other people and helping people do this, that, or the other, that all came together this year. And so it's, to your point, we don't know that resourcefulness is a huge superpower, right? And that's what mine is. Mine is just resourcefulness. I'm MacGyver in this joint. I can kind of take any random pieces and pull something together, and it looks way different than anyone expected it. I can't make anything from scratch. But if you give me some things and you're like, do something with this, I can make it look fabulous. And that ended up being kind of my superpower that I had not really acknowledged as a superpower. And so to your point, it really, this conference and all of the things that come from it is really that. It's helping you, one, identify, right? Like reset your mindset about what it is that you really, really, really want, like what really it matters. Two, then kind of creating that strong vision for it and making sure that that vision is wholeheartedly your own vision. And then three, laying out the map to get it done. And then four, having people to connect to that vision. And last but not least, then requiring you to do something about it, right? What you're gonna do, right? And so the last question, because we only have 10 minutes left, I wanted to ask you guys is, as we're talking about hearing the call, what was the call that you heard this pandemic that you hadn't heard before that changed your business, right? Like in the direness of all that happened this year and all of the changes, was there a call to action to you to make you say, oh, wait, it's my time to step up and step in and help people? Did that happen for you guys at all during this pandemic? And if so, what was that call?
Well, I, you know, I wish I could say, oh, something switched, and I was like, I'm gonna do a cleanse. It wasn't really, that wasn't per se the impetus to do it, right? Instead, it was, well, the way I normally connect with people and I'm networking or going out to my team things and things like that, and me dropping information on a weekly basis in this format was gone. I mean, I had now the computer, and of course, I was motivated by how healthy can I make myself and other people to withstand what might happen. And I I guess the big call is my family. I have a lot of food allergy in my family. I mean, profound, life-threatening food allergy. And I immediately went to how can I fortify my family first? I think a lot of my attraction to food and immunity has to do with, this deficiency of sorts that my family experiences. So those things all were percolating and got amplified because it was such a big unknown and I didn't know. So they very much made me go, how people need good information. People need more immunity. Um, how will I get that out? To Monica's point, Monica's always like, how do you know that? I was like, I don't know why I know that. About something about, I picked it up here because I'm an aggregator of things to keep my family originally healthy, or combating the illness of both parents. Health has been in, I've really dug deep to understand that while I just thought everyone knew, to Peggy's point, everyone didn't know. Everyone wasn't wired to think of a food solution first, to a solution. And so I did step into, I do kind of know, okay, I'll get out there and share with you. That truly happened this pandemic. So it was the acknowledgement that perhaps I had something that would be of value to you guys, and that was right, again, something I was already doing. So I might as well keep doing it and make sure other people have immunity and the agency of health. So yeah, the pandemic just made me more laser focused. So that definitely took that, like Peggy said, I didn't realize it was a superpower, to Monica's point. Like, doesn't everybody know that? And so it's helped me. Alana even said, Andrea, people could really use that in a video. Or, Andrea, people could use that in a video. They don't know what it looks like. I was like, oh, really? Okay. And so there's like content and things like that that I just assumed everyone knew. So, yes, the pandemic
Nice.
forced
So you
me.
heard the call of everybody didn't know that. Oh, let me share.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That was
whenever I
really
talk to you, I always have my phone in my lap so I can Google what you're saying, because it may be a food or it may be just a word. I'm like, I don't want to say what, because you just say what so many times in a conversation and you're like, okay, they think I'm a third grader. So I'm gonna up my intelligence by Googling here in my lap while you can't see me. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, you guys are giving me a complex that I've had as a child. Okay, so it's another
No,
story.
don't have a complex.
No,
Let it
not at
go.
all. You're very, very knowledgeable, and you have a wide range, and you have a very, very nice vocabulary.
Yeah,
Um,
I should diversify quite much more than I actually do. I use the same words over and over again, but you have like new ones all the time. I'm like, oh, another word I gotta learn so that I want to be like you when I grow up. It's fine. No,
well,
don't change anything.
a word is only powerful one time in a conversation, so we all should diversify more. But I feel like you're like, oh, I use that word. I already punched with that word, and I'm going to punch with this word. Like everything you say is like good because you have so many words, which is awesome.
So, all right,
Awesome.
I know we're running out of time, but I,
So
I just
Peggy,
want to share a
oh
funny
yeah,
thing about the words. So, and it's something that I had to accept is true about me. So you guys are making me I'm sharing something that I used to be embarrassed about. I read like a crazy person my entire life. I don't remember a time where I didn't read. So I love language. I love words. I like words in other languages. I don't know what it is. There must be a something anio about it, right? Like I don't know. I've always had that. And so but I got teased about it a lot. So I often am like, oh, don't use that word. Think of another word. Really quick, 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 quick. So there's this dialogue going on in my head. Like the perfect word would be this. And so you guys talking about me in these words, I'm like, oh God, they hate me. It's so funny that I still hear that from a little kid. So I share this story with you guys is that yeah, I always have liked them. It's sort of like the food thing, and I, but I want to have friends, so I'm like trying to always keep it toned
You
down.
don't have to dumb down for me. I admire you.
It's just
I admire you.
thank
Please
you.
continue to challenge me to Google your words so that I can
yes.
develop my
I
vocabulary.
got teased
And I
more.
live with Merrick. You would think I would have a better vocabulary, but I just ignore his big words. I Google yours.
That's hilarious. No, but I was teased mercilessly by my cousins and everything, and like, where'd you come up with that one? And they, of course, do the most woo woo on your head when you're little, right? And so I would be like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
No, and now we're like, Andrea, I need some words. Can you give us some words? And you have all of the words. You always find them. So
That's funny.
so to your
Cousins,
cousin.
yeah, I
Now
know.
who's
But
getting the
Yeah.
last
so
laugh? All the
I'm
words
sitting
are
here
working
like
for you
kind of
now.
inside, like, okay, smile, don't cry. They're
No,
not
we are admiring you. We are
teasing.
100% admiring you. So know that.
But I have a, if my
Yeah.
cousin watches this, she's gonna laugh because she's gonna be like, "Yep, Andrew, those damn words." But anyway, so
Well, I often write things and then I hand it off to Merrick and I say, can you rewrite this so it sounds like an adult wrote it? Like, can you do that? So now
That's
I'll
me
be emailing
to
you
her.
things. I'll be like, so here's what I want to say. Could you just write it so it sounds like, somebody that
well, thank
knows stuff wrote
you,
it?
thank
Yeah.
you. So everyone who's watching, yes, me and words has a strained relationship, but anyway.
That's great though. That's really great. I didn't
So
have an
Peggy,
aha moment. I don't think I did. I think that I've always had a camera in my hand. I've literally, since I was 9 years old, had a camera in my hand. I used to shy away from video. Um, because I thought, like, I can tell a whole story in one frame. I don't need 24 frames per second to tell your silly story. Like, but then, over the last few years, between the weekly video that I make, and, doing self-tapes for actors, and, being thrown into opportunities where it's like, hey, can you help us here? And I'm like, let me YouTube that. Sure, I got it. Okay. I decided, like, why not? Why not learn? Why not embrace this, other, I mean, I already have the equipment, and that's half the time what stops people from doing things is spending the money to buy the stuff. So I'm like, I have this here. Why not, and then I'm like, how can this work for, actors? How can this work for the corporate world? Because, I kind of straddle the fence. I take what I learned in the actor world and I say, hey, actors use their headshots to get jobs. How about you use your headshots as part of your marketing strategy? So, how can I use this in both worlds? And, I think that it's made me figure out how I'm going to survive. How is my job? How am I going to be able to continue to thrive? That word. How am I going to be able to continue to thrive in something that I love, that's my passion? What do I need to do to tweak it? And I think that's just, I've kind of always been pretty good at making things happen. Like, crisis is my time of shining. I roll a duct tape and I've got this. Let's go. We can make it work. And so
That's why we're friends.
yeah. So, this is just everyday stuff. So I think it's just been a reminder that not to settle in and just, because I would not have pushed myself. I would not have been where I am today had I not had to stop and think about, wait, what am I doing? Why am I just sitting here? Like, I'm not young, but I'm definitely not old. Like, I've got some time left in me to accomplish things. So, it's, why am I just sitting here?
Where I am hearing the call of the end of this show. So we're going to wrap it up right now. But I wanted to give Andrea an opportunity to share an announcement that I'm excited to partake in.
So that's right. We're coming up on the first detox and rejuvenation cleanse of 2021. The door is open on the 21st, and I happen to be having a getting started webinar in an hour and a half, which is where I really let people come in and see how I say the word detox and the word cleanse and rejuvenation, and how I really piece that together so that you do come out transformed on the other end, mind, body, and spirit. It's not just about food. That, your mind and your spirit play a lot on how your body shows up. So we go in and out of these things so people see themselves in a 360-degree way and can make changes that I hope are life and long standing, right? So that they can be in their best bodies, come what may. So today and tomorrow, they're getting started webinars. I'm sure the lovely Alana has put it in the box below, or whatever we say in these chat boxes. And so you might not be able to sign up for this one because I think there's a limit to get in, but come tomorrow to the cleanse informational session, and hopefully we can get you in there. So we start 7 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday, bright and early, for my people all over the world, because I do have guests from all over the world. I'm so excited. So it's kind of fun.
Okay, Peggy, what about you? What you got going on in your world?
The only thing I've got going on in my world is this weekend I will be one of the dynamic speakers. And I want you guys to all come and be a part of that. Be a part of that. And no matter where you're at in your business, there's going to be something there that's, you're going to walk away going, oh, wow, that was worth my time. That was worth the investment to come and be a part of. And plus you'll get to see me.
Yeah, so yeah, you'll get to see Peggy.
What's your talk about, Peggy?
Our new
Peggy, what's your talk about?
It's a surprise.
Oh.
Ooh. Gotta show up to see. Okay,
so
I
showing off our students, but okay.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some new things. So if you've been to a conference before, there's some new things in that we have different speakers with different perspectives who are coming to give us their own take on each of these 24 topics that we cover in life, business, branding, and networking. And then also, we have some new personalities. We have some new opportunities, as this is now going to be called the Los Angeles conference. And starting in April, we will be also having not only a Los Angeles one, but we will also have a Sydney conference, and that is going to be on May 6th and 7th. And so it will be in Sydney's time, so it'll be middle of the night for me, but it's okay. I'm ready to serve, just like they come and serve us in the middle of the night at the LA conference. And so we are looking for speakers. So if you are curious about what the speaking opportunity is going to be, you should come to the next global virtual conference this weekend to see what exactly we're talking about this kooky conference where things were all weird and not the same, and there's no talking heads of it all, but actual actionables, and how that can actually benefit your business. Come check it out. If you want more information, go to nextglobalvirtualconference.com to get your passes, and we can start having that conversation. I am going to hit my favorite slide because it is that time now, guys. I want to say special thanks to Alana, our producer for this show. And I also want to thank my co-host in spirit, for being here, helping me with this. And I want to let you know that you have the power to activate the vision within, and you only need to make it happen. So I want to remind you, sharing is caring. Please share this post. Please share it with your friends, send it in a message, hit the share button, put it on your page, put it on your business page. Just share it, because there was something in here that someone needed to hear, and you can help inspire them by sharing this information. I am so excited to get through yet another Monday with you. And I'm excited to see you on the flip side, that same Bat Channel, same time, next Monday. We will be buzzing. We will be buzzing with excitement because we will be fresh off of another conference. So can't wait to see you here in the same channel and the same space next week. Bye.
Off we go.